Cryptocurrency is the new favorite in the trading market, with its popularity increasing every second as it's increasing value. The field is new and presents huge gap that startups can explore. The dynamic duo we present to you in this episode are actively working to revolutionize this space. Aman Sanduja and Praveen Kumar, the co-founders at Moving.so, aim to make cryptocurrencies simple and social for the participants and the potential participants in the market. So, let's listen to them and learn from their strategies.
So, welcome Aman, welcome Praveen, welcome to VC Stories podcast, and congratulations on getting selected to the class 4 of 100x VCs. For our audience who don't know you yet, can you please give a brief introduction about you and what all your startup is about?
Great. So my name is Aman. I started my crypto journey way back in 2015, late 15, early 16. I've been following this space since then. Praveen and I know each other for over 1 year. We used to work together in the tech startup. And talking about my background, I'm an engineer who have worked in startups to corporate. I have also had a small stint working in Google as well. And 2017, I started my first blockchain startup. We developed products in the area of identity, document, and payments. Then happened to start an edtech venture where we were bridging the gap between industry and academia by equipping the students on emerging technologies, specifically blockchain, AI, IoT. And we did good because in India, 10,000 engineering colleges are there, 1.5 million engineers graduate every year, 80% of them are unemployed. And these people lack skill set which are required as a part of the industrial revolution 4.0. So we were equipping them, and Praveen and I met over there. He used to work along with us on some of the K-12 hack which we were doing, some of the products which we were building in the K-12 vertical. So what we are building at Moving is Moving is a social investing platform because right now, for somebody to getting it started into the crypto industry, it feels like a complex. And when it's too complex, one is there's so much of an overload of an information. And somebody who's getting it started, the confidence barrier is very, very high. The experience can be very much overwhelming. So we are simplifying this by creating a social layer on top of the exchanges where they can stay updated, stay informed, and make connect with the influencers and learn from them and start investing in crypto market in confidence. So that is what we are building. We started working over 4 months back. And thank you so much for having us on this podcast and looking forward for the interesting discussion.
Right. So basically, we can say Moving is a Twitter for cryptocurrency.
Yeah, Twitter for crypto investors. We are making a destination for crypto investors. So why we are saying it's a Twitter for crypto investor? Because we are making the conversations possible in this market. So right now, when it comes to healthcare, legal, and any other services which you wanted to avail, you always wanted to go to your friends. आप अपने फ्रेंड से पूछते हो कि यार तेरा डॉक्टर से कैसा एक्सपीरियंस रहा, मैं जाऊं क्या उस डेंटिस्ट के पास, तेरा उस लॉयर से कैसा एक्सपीरियंस रहा. So when you approach your friends for each and everything, why not investing? So why can't there be your friends which you have built up the trust, basis their experience and basis their expertise in the market. So you see what they're buying and selling, what they're writing in terms of the memos and insights, and then you build up that confidence. And you learn from the discussion. You also learn from what's happening around the crypto industry, because the best part about this industry is 24/7, 365 days. It does not sleep. And it's very dynamic. And you cannot be updated with this much of an information if it's too much scattered across. So that is what we are building. Twitter for crypto investors, yes, because we wanted to make the conversations possible. However, I think a lot of people call us the Pinterest for crypto investors. So the idea is to know as a social investing platform. It can be paralleled with any other existing social platform, but very focused on the crypto market.
Got it. So yeah, Praveen, can you please start with your introduction?
So, hi, this is Praveen. I started trading, peer-to-peer trading in crypto in 2018, wherein I went deeper into it. I got more interested in what kind of technology was there underlying that, and then I got more interested in blockchain. But giving a background about myself, I think I started coding at the very early age of around 10. And then I got into lots of things, built lots of things, broken lots of things. And then fortunately got the opportunity to participate in lots of hackathons. I won over 20 of them. Then this wearable device kind of published a research paper at Cambridge for the same. And in 2020, I have sold a proper IPR of a IoT-based device to NEC. and then a blockchain-based solution to PNG. These are some of the milestones that I've crossed in terms of these hackathons. And that got me much more exposure of how things are built, how things are shipped, and how you kind of meet the production-ready perfection of any product or any device that you've been building, right? So that is that. And then I've been in love with crypto. I've been kind of investing and trading in crypto since long. And this was our own itch that there can be a better way to invest in crypto. There can be a much more interesting and collaborative way for crypto, which is not there right now. It's all charts and jargons and numbers. So that's why we set on to build Moving. Yeah.
Got it. So what is that thing that excites you about cryptocurrency? This question is for both of you. And how do you deal with the FOMO factor? Like the cryptocurrency never sleeps.
For me, the excitement is the technology. The excitement is bringing the power to the community. For me, the excitement is the inclusiveness, which were earlier limited to the big players and institutions. I think cryptocurrencies are democratizing the financial institutions. Not only financial institutions, but the underlying technology is disrupting each and every industry. So this power shift from institution to the common hands in terms of the community is very, very exciting. Second is what's exciting in this space is the participation of the retail investors. So these retail investors are coming in large numbers. So if you look at the internet evolution, another evolution where the company is getting built up, which was getting support from institutions. Here you have the real power in the hands of retail investors, and they are collaborating on big time projects. And the best part here is the millennials are the new millennials. So the dynamics, the industry is very dynamic. There's new opportunities to learn, build, and collaborate. And the best part here is you can make you can actually have a developer in your team who you have never met, and he's sitting like 1,000 miles away from you. So that's the power of community and collaboration. And of course, it's never sleeps, and so are the humans who wanted to be up at night. There has to be some form of an entertainment which should be there apart from your social platform. So this is it, which keeps you alive, and it always keeps you active because you can see what's growing or what's appreciating, and then you can participate. Now, the second question was FOMO. Of course, FOMO is there, and FOMO will always be there. And I think as the FOMO increases, the participation in this industry increases. So that's my take.
Got it. So what is success to you, and what does success look like for Moving?
Okay, great. Success looks like for Moving is we are actually creating a platform where people can make the wealth, right? So
Okay.
the success for us would be to enable the next 10 million people to participate in this industry and stay invested for a longer period of time and actually contribute to their financial well-being. And with their financial well-being, they can start transacting. See how the countries work. As the economy start getting flourished, the people will start earning more. There is more jobs in the market. When the people start earning more, they will start paying more taxes. And they start paying more taxes, the GDP increases. The GDP increases, the world gets prosperous. So that is how it's a circular economy. So now imagine with this kind of a power in crypto, right now you have about 1.5, $1.6 trillion of market cap. It just happened in last 10, 11 years. And I got into crypto, it was like a couple of $100 billion. So I've seen it from $200 billion to about 2.2, $2.4 trillion in about less than 5 years. And India has about 10 million investors, which are there in the crypto space. Now, out of 10 million, we are very much sure that basis the conversation which we have had, 80% or 90% of them don't even understand what is this all about. Right. So they have made money by speculating. They have not made money by doing an informed decision. Now imagine long back, if somebody who had believed in Bitcoin and Ethereum in the early days, stay invested, and he has definitely made a wealth out of it. So the more understanding about the project you have, right, the more you understand from the aspect of the utility which this project is trying to make, right, you will be invested for a longer period of time. And as you will be invested, you will try and talk about this investment strategy amongst your friends. And now your friends would build up the confidence on top of it, and they can go investing along with you. So the success for us is clearly the people, the Indians start making the wealth in the crypto market and be there invested for a longer period of time. And as they make the wealth, they start contributing on some of the other projects which can actually give some kind of a GDP contribution.
Understood. So you mentioned you and Praveen met during a hackathon, and you have been together since then. And so my next question is, you both complement each other, and how does this dynamic duo work between you two? Like, there's a age gap. So how do you deal with the conflict, and how does this experience make you understand the business in a better way?
I think Praveen's thought process and business, the way of dealing with business is of my age. My energy and my contribution in the startup is of his age. So I think we both complement not from the age, but from each other's energy and experience. So I contribute from my experience to him, and then he contributes from his energy and passion to my age. And I think age is just a number these days. And if you would look at every other entrepreneur is coming up way too early in the startup industry at the age of 13, 14. And the crypto has even younger people at the age of 9 or 10. And we both did not meet in the hackathon. We actually met in what it called where he used to work with us in Zubi. And I know Praveen's sister for over 3 years.
Got it. So how do you deal conflict amongst each other?
How do we deal conflict? I think conflicts are not something to be taken as a critique, but to be taken, not something to be treated as a criticism. Conflict should be taken as what you call a critique or a feedback. So our conflicts never happen. Thankfully, have never happened where we have started questioning each of us, our capability. We majorly questions the business objective and business outcome. And I think conflicts give us the healthier way of discussion to come up with better thought process and insights, which actually is ultimately beneficial for the organization. And usually the conflicts are about the features. Like I come up from the non-tech side of it, and I see a new feature or something like that, and I go back into the FOMO that if we will not implement this, we will miss it out. And Praveen's way of dealing with the product is there is a process, right? Because you cannot just go ahead and stitch the code once again and start looking at the new feature. What already we have decided and discussed, let us build that on top of it, which we can do that. So I think the conflicts are majorly with respect to the business opportunity. We both are on the common mission, which we complement, and we hope that this passion, energy, and mission stays with us forever. So I think crypto is in our DNA, and these conflicts are healthy for us in terms of the feedback to the business.
That is,
and less than conflicts, they are more of like healthy brainstorming sessions, right? Whenever Aman comes up with a new idea, so we kind of interrogate that idea from end to end, whether it will be feasible for the product or not. Then we have our own opinions. Then it clashes sometimes, but again, at the end, we come up with the right thing. We come up with what's more feasible for the product which we are building, and it all ends up in a very interesting scenario. So it's not a conflict; it's just a healthy discussion or healthy brainstorming that we have. Yeah, that's kind of what we do.
All right. So, according to you, what are the pros and cons of having a co-founder? And like new entrepreneurs make many mistakes while choosing a co-founder, and that is something that can really derail the startup. So, how does having a co-founder affect the startup, and how to choose the right one?
And Praveen should go on this first.
Yeah, so I think I'll share my personal experience. So I've been to some of these hackathons. So hackathons are like 2-day sprints where you need to build an end-to-end product, which is like totally on the spot, right? So despite the fact that I've attended few of them, I've won few of them, I personally had no experience in team management or working with a team, correct? That was something that I was missing.
Okay.
And then once you go ahead and create a startup is like eating so as Elon Musk states that it's like eating glass and looking at the sun, looking at the sky, right? It's so difficult for you to kind of manage it all. And if you're like acting as a Superman, I can do it all and I can manage business as well as product and everything, I think that can be much of a hassle for your end. And also, मतलब वो होगा नहीं, like it will exhaust your energy over a period of time, and again, until unless you have someone to kind of discuss each and everything discuss each and everything, solve all those problems together, rather than just binging your mind ki this can happen, that can happen, and then everything comes on you in the end, right? So it's just better. It's just beautiful to have someone with you and then work together. Because see, I can think from one perspective, but if I get another perspective that can add up to that, add some value to that, I think it's a win-win case for any company or any co-founding team that is there right now. So yeah, and
No, excellent. That
my
is well
take
put up.
on having
So
a
I think
co-founder.
for me especially, the number one is see, co-founders are like your life partners, correct?
Hmm.
And if you see that starting a business is hard, it's really hard, correct? The major thing which you need to distribute amongst yourself is the stress, right? So I think the co-founders play a equally important role when it comes to dealing with business stress. And nobody will understand your business like your co-founder. You may have what you call somebody from the external market join as a CTO or a CEO, but somebody who just started with you, laid down the foundation, will understand actually the business. Uh, uh, I mean, on the same frequency and having the same amplitude to execute it. So it goes beyond the development of product, beyond the valuation, beyond the other thing. And I think it's a relationship which actually gives a lot of benefits, not only to the immediate effects of the people, but I think on the larger term, it's also healthier for the individual in terms of emotional well-being and stress well-being as well. So it's very, very important to have a co-founder in your startup. I think solo founders, they are all just like one man army. So you are the one who have to pick up a glass of water, and you are the one who have to sign on the paper. You are the one who have to drive. You have to recruit. So each and everything you have to do that. And I have a lot of friends who have been a solo founder, and we have clearly seen Paytm and some other examples where they were solo founders and they got the team. So there are pros and cons. Of course, for a longer term period, you definitely need either as a or you definitely need somebody on your side, either as a co-founder or a part of your
Hmm.
co-founding team.
Yeah.
Understood. So my next question would be, can you describe the outline of your typical day, like what you do and how do you manage a typical day?
Our day starts at night. Our night starts at day. So
Yeah,
Praveen and I
that gets
usually
concluded
sleep.
there.
Yeah, Praveen and I usually sleep between 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. It's not healthy for our body, but we are trying our best. Every day
Yeah.
we think that we wanted to improve on this, but we fail to do that. I think it could be seen as uh, the industry which we are in, which never sleeps and never let us sleep as well, because something happens, then you have to be up, and then
Yeah.
there's so much to read, there's so much of an excitement to see what's happening. And if you see in this industry, the action happens from west, and there is, of course, a time zone difference. So when they are
Right.
up, we are sleeping, and when we are sleeping, they're up. So uh, what we do, I think I can talk about myself. Recently, I've started going to office. I try my best to leave by 9:30, 10 o'clock, or maximum by 10:30, and then reach office. Try and uh, have some conversations with the team, look at what's happening, talk to Praveen, give him new ideas. Then usually do lunch, late lunches, late evening snacks, and then late dinner. Of course, the time with family is least spent these days, and I hope they are also understanding that we are onto something. They are complimenting and supporting. So my routine is a combination between a bit of a workout, and a lot of eating, a lot of junk eating, and a lot of what you call reading on the internet. You would not believe I have not watched TV in last 6 months. I have not watched any of the series. So my friends laugh. I've never watched GOT. I've never watched Friends. I've never watched any of the series. I usually end up watching maybe the interviews of Steve Jobs, interviews of Sunil Bharti Mittal, interviews of Ratan Tata. So a lot of my binge watching goes there, where I try and find something how they have actually built the businesses of size and scale, right? So that is my routine.
Understood.
I think over to say.
And just connecting to that point that binging these interviews or whatever is available on YouTube or the internet, like sometimes if you'll just notice, there are like these gold pots on YouTube which you can watch for free. and it has around 3,000 views. That's it, right? And then you see some crazy people dancing and doing nothing of any sort of value. You see around 3 million, 4 million views, and then people ask that how can the youth of India or any kind of generation can grow or become something very special in terms of both role and value, right? So that is something I find very crazy. I see some very interesting videos on YouTube and then see only 3,000 views. I feel like either they have not amplified that, or either there are people who are not even interested in even looking at it for about 30 seconds or 1 minute. So that is something interesting. And then talking about my routine, that's a little weird. So I sleep around, these days it's kind of like this. I sleep around 3 to 4 a.m. and then I wake up around 9:30, 10. And after that, it's all like getting freshen up in 1 hour and then getting back to work. It's all full time and moving. So I start with a usual discussion with Aman every day. Like we have this routine of texting each other, good morning, good morning, sir, or with a gif or something like that. It's like every day. It's a routine we have been following. So after that, we get on to work. And then whatever, mainly it's like scheduled all of it. When do we have to talk with the growth team or the product team? And it's all in a scheduled manner, but once we have something important to discuss, we get on a scrum call or everything like that, and the entire day goes into it, into brainstorming, into building, and into then planning everything and channelizing most of the things, right? So
we are sleep deprived, we are food deprived, we are everything deprived. We are only one thing which is constant is the hunger towards building this business. The passion is exponential.
No, typically the startup industry is also glamorized with this thing ना कि आपको सोने को नहीं मिलेगा, आपको खाने को नहीं मिलेगा अगर आप अपना startup start करोगे तो.
Yeah.
मिलेगा सब, but time is enabling.
हाँ, it's like you won't feel like going to that.
All right. So, Praveen, you are in class 12th and you just turned 18. So, what was your family's reaction when you said कि मेरे को moving में ही full time करना है? So, how are they coping up with this thing?
So, families, okay. So very clearly, I think there is some sort of beauty in creating a credibility with parents, right? If you don't create a credibility over a long period of time and then come up with a new thing altogether that I want to do a startup, they'll simply say, go back to your room and start studying. Correct. But right. I kind of went into that mode since the last 2 to 3 years where I attended hackathons, where I took my mom also to certain events like that. And then she knew that I was into all this. I want to do something more important, something of more value in this. And that's why they kind of supported me when I told Ki this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do with Aman. And this is the idea, right? It's not that they have not understood the idea. They have not understood what I'm doing. I explained it in a much more simple way so that they know that this is something which can be the future. They know that what I am spending a good amount of time on is crucial and it can be of some sort of value for other people. It's not like I'm doing some crazy stuff like building a robot for road cleaning, right? It's something like which they've been seeing on TV, which they've been seeing on IPL, that crypto is being generalized. It's being coming into the commercial space, right? So they know it and they are very much supportive for that. So fortunate enough, grateful also. And
no, that is great. उनको
that's it.
क्योंकि Indian parents को समझाना
that was the only reaction. It was much more organic and
Indian parents को समझाना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो ही जाता है इन चीजों को लेकर. So, what's the culture that you are incorporating in your company?
Oh, we are a flat organization. We are very much transparent, open door, and we don't work like employees. We work like extended family. We work like friends. Of course, there are certain pros and cons in working like friends and working like employees, but we don't really have fixed timing to start at 9 o'clock. We're very much flexible. I mean, the job should be done, right? And people should have that same DNA of executing that particular task rather than just finishing up and then go back exhausted, right? We try our best that even if they're signing off, there has to be some sort of excitement which they carry along with them onto the bench. So we're building like a very open culture. And I think this is a need of an hour since we're all decentralized. We haven't really met all the people who we have recruited in the last 45 days. And it's all either audio conversations or sometimes video conversations. But more of it, you get to understand from the conversation of it. And I think we wanted to build the best-in-class culture where we can make a safe place and a trusted place for millennials to work and nurture, and they grow along with the organization. And we would be very happy if they grow faster than the organization.
Right. So apart from the hard skills, what sort of skill do you look for in a candidate?
I think startups usually demand 2, 3 specific soft skills. One is the emotional well-being. This person would be able to deal with a lot of stress if it comes across. Has he dealt with some of the situations in the past? How he has tackled or addressed some of the problems which he or she has faced in the past? Second is, of course, is he a go-getter or is he somebody who needs to be told?
Self-starter,
Yeah, self-start is a good word. So uh, he needs to be told on certain aspect, then he start working on something. And third is usually the interest in this industry, because you may have the hard skills, but I particularly look at when we are recruiting, we particularly look at this, and I think when Praveen he looks at majorly from the design sense and aesthetics, if I can talk about it. So that's his nomenclature. But for us, usually the 3 parameters remains the same. I think the third one is the common between us, and of course depends and varies which role we are hiring. If you're hiring for a community, we wanted to see if he's a people's person, right? If you're hiring for growth,
Right.
we wanted to see that if he brings in certain experience and he actually is more familiar with the social platform. If we are hiring in engineering, I think Praveen can talk about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So, yeah.
No, so I was asking Praveen, how do you stay focused and how do you manage stress? Like being a younger one, so stress is something जो अभी तक हमने स्कूल लेवल का ही देखा है and competitions में ही देखा है. एक
Yeah.
कंपनी को संभालना उसका स्ट्रेस अलग होता है. So how do you deal with that?
Yeah, definitely. Stress is a lot, but again, I personally don't take it too seriously. I don't take it as something like it's a mountain in front of me. It's just that it's a thing. It can be solved. There are ways to solve everything. And stress का कुछ ऐसा वो नहीं है. It's just that sometimes you get stressed, you kind of take rest, and then it goes away. Right? That's the normal routine you can follow. There's no extra thing or any additional thing I do for that. That is one. But again, in schools, what you see is usually it's a guided flow, right? Teachers tell you to do this, teachers tell you to do that, and you do it, you complete it, and then you are off the chart, right? You are fine, you can take rest, you can do everything. So all of that has been inculcated in most of us, even me. But I think I have evolved over a period of time from that, and I don't think managing stress is much of an issue. Obviously, we are in an initial stage right now. There's a lot to face, and there's a lot to see in the future. But right now, it's not much of a woe. But I think I need to kind of work out and exercise regularly. That's what Aman also highlights a lot of times. Ki you need to get on track and stay healthy for a longer time. And that is something that is missing in my schedule and my flow right now that I want to inculcate very soon, so that I kind of feel fresh throughout the day. It's not like some part of the day I feel fresh and then I feel lousy. So that is something I want to work on.
Our motto is stress है तो success है boss. Simple.
हाँ, ठीक है.
Risk है तो इश्क है तो stress है तो success है. Yes.
जितना बड़ा रिस्क उतना बड़ा रिवॉर्ड. जितनी अभी ग्राइंड कर ली उतना ज्यादा अच्छा सक्सेसफुल स्टार्टअप. So, what are the traits, according to you, that are required in a successful founder or a leader?
I think the definition of a leader is in itself very broad. So, if I talk about from my experience and the conversation which Praveen and we have had, the traits of the founder or a leader should be to not get into the micromanagement of the work. Of course, it is required from the startup point of view. But I think more or less to reiterate the vision and mission among the people who we are recruiting. Right. A lot of times people end up telling the features, right, that what we are building. Nobody talks about the larger picture which we are trying to craft in this society. So once you have that excitement, that same level of energy which people can breathe onto, and then be there as a part of the same frequency, they'll start working better. And I think as a startup founder, or as I would not call myself a leader yet, but I think I'm on the course of becoming a leader. We both are on the course of becoming a leader. But I think what we have realized is you give people a time, right? excite them about the opportunity they wanted to work on. Provide them with some of the references, but don't push them. Don't be hard on them that they have to do it. So let me just share one of the examples. We're working on one of the events, right? There are zillion events which happen across the globe. How do you actually can set up a new stage where you have people who are eagerly waiting to hear for that speaker? So you give perspective. You talk about from the different perspectives. So the more you open the Pandora box of the people, the more you excite them, the more you talk about the mission, vision, and values, the more you talk about how you are trying to build something which will become a change in the market, how this will be one of the products and platform which people would love to use it even after 10 years, how you can actually make people fall in love with this. So I think the things which we wanted to particularly avoid is not to get into micro operations. Give them a task, equip them with certain relevant material, and excite them and let them come up with the best solution. And you are always there to give them a feedback. Of course, they will fail. Let them see themselves fail so that they can learn. So don't expect a success at first. Expect a failure and let's fail together. Let's fail often. The success should be for all of us. The failure should be for both of us.
That is well said. Right.
And then
So how do
just
you?
adding,
Yeah.
sorry, just adding
Yeah.
two
Please.
more traits that I find and I kind of want to inculcate is the power of listening, correct? Because sometimes when we talk to these people who want to get into moving, they somewhat relate every damn thing that happened in their life to why they want to apply, correct? They correlate everything. It may sound long, so sometimes you get frustrated. Why is this person telling me his entire life story in one go? But again, if you have that power of listening, I think you'll realize most of the things. It will become very clear for you whether or not I need to have this person in our team. Right. One is that, and second is this one, the power of ownership, that you show that person that if you will be working with us, if you will be giving your best, then you have an outcome in future, right? It's not that you're only working for the money. It's not that you're only working for the time period that we have defined. It's more than that. It's beyond.
I was asking, how do you approach angels and VCs and decide which angel or VC is best suited for you? And how do you prepare the pitch and overcome the nervousness, if any?
Okay, so VC for us or angels for us have never been that fear factor. I think it's more like talking about your business which you're building amongst the most smarter people so that they can actually buy in that idea and believe in you and support you beyond the captain. How do we decide whether this is the right VC or angels? Of course, everyone wants to go by the tier one VCs. There is a lot of added value and advantage they bring it on the capital. Second, I think the most importantly for us, how we have decided, particularly the angels, are the ones who have an interest in this space, right? Somebody bringing in money, somebody bringing in sound money, it actually makes a lot of a difference, right? So somebody gives you 1 crore but does not even understand about this industry can actually be a danger to you. So there is a saying that venture capital and a vulture capital. So,
right.
So that has to be an adventure capital for you, not a vulture capital. So these are some of the things. Now we prepare the pitch deck. Pitch decks for us are like more like a storytelling exercise. It's not what do you call that you are making the school presentation or college presentation. It's like how do you narrate your story to your parents? I think with the same pitch deck, if you can talk about your business idea amongst your parents and explain them, and I think that is the only thing which we work on. And while we make the pitch deck, the story and outline is something which we look after. Maybe Praveen wants to add something.
Yeah, so I'll just add on the nervousness part. I think nervousness only stays 2 minutes prior to the call. After that, we are all in. Like we go with the flow, and it's never like we have ever stopped on anything. It's just that we deliver more and everything that's in our mind. So it's something that we kind of never get nervous with. He'll think this or he'll think that. I think Aman is also great in this aspect, that he delivers it all. He doesn't stop. Even if the investor, anyone who's like done with a particular point that he's fine, he's not even pressing on that, we deliver even more so that it's much more clear in his mind that this is what's going to happen and this is what the future looks like. So that is something on the nervousness.
So who leads the call?
Kind of,
Who leads the call
I
with
think
the
we co-lead,
investors? You or Aman?
we co-lead it
Co-lead
together.
it.
It's
Would-
not
mainly.
something like that. We actually co-lead it. So majorly product and other questions, Praveen is the best one to speak about. And usually when it comes to business numbers and financials and other stuff, and I think I sort of put it. That does not mean that we don't know these answers, but I think
Yeah.
the best one takes it and
Right.
bring them into confidence.
Makes sense.
Exactly.
So yeah, it was great having you on our podcast. And before leaving, do you have any parting advice for our listeners? Basically, those who want to start their own venture someday, but they need a push.
I think Praveen should be an inspiration from this podcast. When I met Praveen, I've never felt that he's younger to me, how we would actually do the business together. There has to be somebody who has an experience. So I think he should be clearly an example for the listeners and basically millennials who are getting started into starting into the space of venturing it out. But I think a lot of people, from my experience, a lot of people take startups as a glittery business opportunity. They go by the fame and popularity. They don't go
Right.
by actually addressing the problem, what they have to build on top of it. So I think most of these people I have had a chance to speak with, they are always with that notion. I wanted to do a startup, right? But nobody starts the conversation that I wanted to solve this problem in the market, and this is the problem I'm solving for this person, and this is how he would actually would use if I build this as a solution. So I think start with the problem. Don't start with the startup. Once you upstart with the problem, I think the startups will become easy. And start early in your life. Don't expect that there is a set guideline that you have to do an MBA, then you have to work in a corporate. I think if you're able to build a narrative on top of the problem and have people to build a solution, maybe a basic solution even could be on pitch deck, and you can validate with the customers, then I think it's a win-win for you to get into the market. Praveen, do you want to add something?
Yeah. Yeah, only one point is key, always take in experiences, right? Try and see how much experience can you take by going to certain places, by building certain things. Lots of people I see, they work on some really fancy and interesting ideas, but it's something that no one needs right now, right? It's something that no one will even care to have a look at or even interact with. Correct? But there are some interesting minds working on something, right? So basically, if you are passionate about something, start building onto that, because the most important or the most hardest thing is to get started, right? Until unless you do that, I think the moment you get started, after that, it's all the pleasure and the experience that you will keep on getting, and that will keep on motivating you to reach your whatever destination that you've dreamt of. So I think that's something very important to get started and stay there.
No, that is well said. Yes.
Have the perseverance. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
So thank you so much. Thank you, Aman. Thank you, Praveen, for having for taking out your time and telling your story. It was great listening to your story, and we wish all the success for the moving, and hope to see you doing great with moving. So
Looking forward.
Thank you.
bye bye. Take care.